That's Reb Shlomo, that's Eitan.
You heard it. You heard Eitan singing it. Yeah. Okay, so today is Yom HaZikaron, and so we're dedicating our learning to the memory of all the holy souls that gave their lives for this whole land of ours. The neshama should have an aliyah, and we should be inspired to have a serious nefesh, to know that like they gave their lives, we should be ready to give our lives to be the best that we could be. Amen. Okay, what page did we stop on yesterday?
We stopped on 84, we did the first paragraph.
84, yeah, we talked a lot, I know. Actually, we did the second one also. We're in 85. Who went last night to the Kikar Safra? You were there? Anybody else? Were ready? Sultan's Pool. What did they have there?
The whole thing.
A whole ceremony? Musical ceremony?
Yeah.
And you went?
To the tree.
To the tree? You were where? So, at home? Saying Tehillim, probably? Okay, that's the door. Okay, so today we're going to stop at 1:30 Mr. Hashem because I got to pack, get ready to go. So remember, tomorrow there's no classes, Yom Ha'atzmaut, but Wednesday we continue. The Suli is here.
Oh.
Bernhard or Bernhard? Bernhard. And so remember, Rabbi Yonah is giving classes on Rav Kook. If you've learned Rav Kook, you don't need any convincing. If you haven't, you shouldn't need any convincing. It's amazing learning, and Reb Shlomo was very, very much into Rav Kook. See, a lot of Rav Kook is based on Rav Nachman and Ishbitz and so on, and it integrates a lot of Hasidic teachings. He's actually a descendant of, in Chabad, the children of the Mikveh Rebbe, the Tzemach Tzedek continued the line of the Lubavitch dynasty, but there were other children who also became Rebbe's, like Mekarev, and there was a tragedy there in Tzfat recently, and not Chernobyl, but there were others, so you ever saw the Malachim in Crown Heights? There's the Zurkin family. They're the Lubavitchers, but they dress with the hats up and so on, when they have payas and so on. Yeah, they're also from the Lubavitcher dynasties.
My great-grandfather was the guy by
Mekarev Yeshua.
What happened in the car?
In Tzfat, there was a nigga from, I don't want to talk about it now. They arrested somebody yesterday. There was a tragedy. Anyway, so the why was I saying that? I have no idea.
Rav Kook.
So Rav Kook is a descendant of one of those lineages. Yeah. Okay, Shvirat HaKos, the breaking of the cup. So everybody knows that the reason that we break a glass at the chuppah is that, at the height of your simcha, Naleh et Yerushalayim al Rosh Simchatenu, right? We mustn't forget Yerushalayim. At all the times, we must remember the Beit HaMikdash has not yet been rebuilt. Shibona b'mheira b'yameinu, should be rebuilt quickly in our days. But we mustn't forget that, as happy as we are, Oz Yimoles Chayk Pinu. When Mashiach is going to come, then Yimoles Chayk Pinu, then we'll have a full mouth of laughter. But until then, we don't really know how to laugh. Once Reb Shlomo was at a concert in Montreal, there was somebody in the audience, I didn't see who, but somebody in the audience was really annoying him, and he stopped in the middle, and he sort of looked at this person, and he says, how shallow can you be? And then afterwards he said, we don't know how to laugh, or we don't know how to cry. We cry over stupid things, and we laugh over dirty jokes. But we don't really know how to laugh. The Oz Yimoles Chayk Pinu, the complete laughter, a real laughter. Very few people, know how to do that. But I told you the joke I heard recently from Rabbi Silberg. His uncle came on Aliyah. You heard it? How could you not have heard it? His uncle comes on Aliyah, gets on an Egged bus, and on an Egged bus you can't stand very long if you're not sitting, and you got to hang on. So he grabs for the handle because the bus, and he grabs for the handlebar, and this little old lady grabs his beard to hold on. You didn't hear this? So he says to her, Geveret, Hazakan sheli, it's my beard. So she says, Ata yored? Are you getting up now? I don't know if that joke would work anywhere else in the world, but in Israel, Ata yored, so it's okay, good. So
could try it on the subway.
Yeah, go ahead. Everybody, I want to tell you a joke.
Maybe I haven't been in this country long enough, but you'll have to excuse me. I don't understand the joke.
Just saying, so it's your beard. What, you getting off the
2
bus
more
now?
minutes won't kill you.
Only in Israel.
That's right.
Grow your beard.
Yeah. Your mother's still in Oman, or she's back?
She's back.
Baruch Hashem.
Safe.
Safe and sound?
Yeah.
Believe it or not, a British Rebbetzin just led a whole group of women to Uman, now in the Ukraine, under these conditions.
Have you
But
been
it's
allowed in
okay.
Uman?
Yeah,
It's not,
Yeah.
the problem's not in Oman.
I know, but I'm just saying, but still, by going into the country and so on, like his mother,
Oh, okay.
Rebbetzin Portnoy. Do you know Rebbetzin Portnoy? You don't know.
I've heard big
She's
things.
not a spiritually lazy person. But she did say here once at a shiur that men are spiritually lazy.
It's not anything.
Huh?
It's not anything.
This is true.
This is true.
Okay,
Tell your mother that
give
we
it
all
class.
agree, she can watch it online, that men are spiritually lazy.
Was
that an official poll?
I don't know how you say that.
Not, there's always an exception that proves the rule, like you,
I
but
know many very spiritually active men,
yeah,
and not just the Gedolim.
but generally men are like more like, like, it's good enough, but women are gevura. It can be better, it better be better. When you came home with your report card and you had a 79, what did your mother say? What did your father say? Lachschein.
No, because I remember if I got not too many D's, my father didn't growl at me.
He was happy.
But my mother used to say, at least it wasn't an F.
Yeah, household that one. If I came home with a 97, why did you get a 100?
Yeah. That's why I didn't come home with a 97.
And if I came
Came
home with a mark at all.
I didn't tell him.
For you.
What did you get on your report card? I got a
At least you
99. It's a total of 3 tests, but it's a 99. Okay. Anyway, so it is Yom HaZikaron, and Ramesh, like, the thanks, that was the Mesiras Nefesh of our Chayalim that we're here and that we can walk on the streets, without freaking out and being peaceful. Okay, so Shvirat HaKos, the breaking of the cup. Psiya Achat Lo Nechona. This is a title that somebody gave this title. We'll see soon why. One wrong move. Psiya Achat Lo Nechona. Take one wrong move, right? Chas v'sholom. Yesh lanu od daka achat. We've got one more minute here. Daka shel netzach, a minute of eternity. By the way, I think we should advertise this class as being partially like a reading ulpan, because it's really, if you pay attention to the words in the translation.
She's right, it's like half of them like every day.
Yeah, I'm just saying, but and as I'm translating, you can learn a lot of Hebrew if you try. So Moshe, you're in the book again. Madua anachnu asim davar kol kach muzar. Why do we do this strange thing? Madua lechim kos v'dochim aleha, and we take a cup and we step on it. So, by the way, our friend Sheva Chaya, she has a studio in Tzfat.
Yeah,
You know who I'm
she
talking
does
about?
that.
She started a new thing.
Yeah.
She says save the broken glass, and then she does
Turn
blown
it
glass.
For years.
No, but this thing with the
No, now
glass.
it's like an advertised, it's like a
And she'll take the
deal.
glass and she'll make a beautiful kiddush cup out of it. So, the fixing of the broken cup,
Spirits. Yeah.
Keep in mind.
Huh?
Keep in mind.
Yes. So he says, why are we doing something so strange? Why are we taking a cup and stepping on it? So if someone's taking the whole takeover here, he's saying it doesn't take much to destroy your shalom bayit, right? Ein ze ela kedei lomar lecha. We do this to teach you kama me'at tzarich, how little is needed kedei laharos shalom bayit, to destroy the peace in the home. Psiya achat lo nechona yechola laharos bayit shalem. One wrong move can destroy a whole home. Psiya achat, just one bad step. Right? Oto hakos, the very same cup. I think that's grammatically a mistake. It's kos gadol, kos katan. It should be oto hakos. Asher berachnu aleha, that cup that we made a bracha on, sheva brachot, we made 7 blessings over this cup, anachnu shovrim ka'ed, we're breaking it right now. Nachon hu, she'anashim asher lo birchu ala kos sheva brachot v'shovrim ota. So it's true, people who didn't make 7 blessings over the cup and then they go ahead and they break it, ein lahem harbe ma lahafsid. So they don't have a lot to lose because they never invested the sheva brachot, right?
Excuse me, I'm confused here. The cup with Sheva brachas under the
chuppah.
Chuppah, you take that glass and you set
In some Hovim it's that glass, yeah. In other places they just take another glass. It doesn't have to be that glass, but it's but usually in many Chabad it's the same glass for the whole for every part of the ceremony. But in any case, so he says the same cup that you made 7 blessings over. So if you didn't make 7 blessings over it, then if it gets broken, you don't feel like you lost very much, you know. But it's something that you made 7 blessings over, meaning to say that you invested into this relationship, right? So then you appreciate what might be lost. You know, tragically today, like I was talking with a young man, a former student of mine back in Montreal. So he was thinking of getting married, and he said most of his friends, when they get married, sadly, they don't even imagine that it's going to last more than 3 to 5 years. It's a real tragedy. Like, you know, it's like, I'm not blaming them, but like, you know, like we were talking about this last week. We got to do some serious work to get people to believe again and that things can be fixed. Yes.
How does this work with, like, I know some people under the chuppah, they break a light bulb, like instead of a cup, they break like an old light bulb.
The idea is to break something. You understand?
Same thing as in like you.
Same thing, but you know, like they I don't know why. Like, I'd rather break a cup than a light bulb. You know, like it's not like lights out. You know.
Right, that's the whole
but
thing.
It's easier to break.
I
know. I heard of a chassan that mamish stepped on the glass and it went through the sole of his foot, and they had to go right away to the first aid. No, it wasn't. It was that he had to get like serious stitches. You've seen it happen also.
They didn't rush him away, but they realized later on. Okay, so Chevra, the trick is to crack it with the heel.
The heel, but even so, you got to do like, you know, what do you call it? I always point out to the chassan where to step, because if you try to do it over here, this is the hardest part of the glass. You understand? So like, I always try to point out where to hit. And then you get these like chassanim, they say, I know, but then they step on it and it doesn't work. And I told you.
If the expectation is that marriage should last more than 4 or 5 years, then why get married afterwards?
That's what some other people say. But it's sad. It's like I told you, when I was going through my divorce, and there were all these kids in the class, over 25% of the class was, at the end of the day, did not rush to go home because they were all in broken homes. You know, and I used to think to myself, like, what's going to be with these kids when they grow up? Anyway, so you're the young people here, and you have to restore confidence. All of you. Okay? Otherwise, if it was Texas, we'd go back to the good old kiddo, you're getting married to my daughter tonight.
We have most of them. We have another one.
Huh?
We have another most.
Yeah, I know.
Pesach
and
and
Danielle, Baruch Hashem, should be a matzlocha.
But we
Okay.
We want the younger people to do what we think they should do, then the older generation has to show the example.
Yeah, but that's right. Of course we have to.
Children from a broken home.
But some of them, anyway.
Not necessarily mean bad. My children came from a broken
No, Baruch Hashem, not everybody, but the percentage of what's going on is like very high, very high. Your children went through one divorce. There are kids who went through 5.
The children went through
2,
Anyway,
whatever.
I was God's help that it turned out.
Baruch Hashem. Somebody was praying. Good.
It was my mother in this world and the other world.
So, אבל כשמברכים על כל 7 ברכות, but when you make a blessing, when you make 7 blessings over a cup, צריכים מאוד להיזהר, you have to be very, very careful, כי פסיעה אחת שלו במקום, one wrong step, יכולה להרוס הכל, can destroy everything. מה צריך כדי להרוס נישואים? Right, so until now, Reb Shlomo was talking about what you need to put into a relationship, what you need to put in, like yesterday we were talking about how the giving of the ring was like at that point, the step into Kodesh, into Kodesh HaKodashim, into the building of the Beit HaMikdash, right? So once you've built something, you need to know how to maintain it, right? So it's like, for example, in the second mission in Pirkei Avot, actually the third mission, the second mission, Al Shlosha Dvarim Ha'olam Omeid, Shimon HaTzadik says that the world is standing on 3 things: Al HaTorah, Al HaBodah, Al Gemilut Chasadim, and Torah, Avodah, and Gemilut Chasadim. And then at the end of the parak, it says, Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel Omer, Al Shlosha Dvarim Ha'olam Kayam. The world is existing on 3 things: Al Ha'emet, Al Hadin, Al Shalom, on truth, justice, and peace. So what's the difference between Omeid and Kayam? So Omeid, so let's say you're building a house. I say, why are you building this house? What does this organization stand for? What is it Omeid for? Why are you doing this? So you're doing it for Torah, Avodah, and Gemilut Chasadim. That's why God created the world. What are the minimal necessary ingredients for it to last, for it not to get destroyed? Emet, Din, and Shalom. Understand? So why are you building this? Why are you saying Sheva Brachot? Because we're building a holy home, right? What do you need to that it should continue, that it should last? For that, you have to be careful not to make a wrong move, because things could break down much faster. It's much easier to destroy something than it is to build something. Right? What do you need to break up a marriage? Do you need an atom bomb? No. Die v'psiya achat, emet din and shalom. Truth, justice, and peace. Yes, one step, psiya achat ktana, one small step can ruin it. What do you need? How much is necessary to distance somebody from being from Yiddishkeit? Psiya achat lo nechona, one wrong move, chas v'shalom. Right? Like one really bad experience, and I've seen people walk away from their whole Yiddishkeit. It's not that they're not responsible for walking away from it. In other words, but for example, let's say you're teaching in a class. You can be giving a perfect, beautiful lesson, and then some kid does something, and the teacher loses his self-control, and his hat flies up in his anger and everything. And let me just see his face. And his hat flies up in anger, and the kid looks at it. And some kid in the class is like looking at it. Might not even be the kid who's getting into trouble. Just looks at this like something doesn't fit. You're learning about all these beautiful things, and look at what kind of person this person is. And I remember one day Netzach came home from school over here, and he's crying. And why are you crying? Because Mamish heard him how the teacher spoke to his friend. He was so upset because the teacher was putting his friend down, and he felt like, like, what are you doing? Like, why are you hurting my friend? Type of thing, okay? So one wrong move. Now, the point is that we have to be careful. Okay, you can't go crazy, like, like doing everything perfect, because we're not perfect, but we have to keep on trying. La'aroch chatuna, to arrange a wedding, lokeach harbe zman, it takes a lot of time. Speak to the party planners, right? I don't envy them. Aval lishbor kos, but to break a cup, lokeach shniya achat, it takes one moment. ובורא עולם לקח כביכול 6 ימים לברוא את העולם. God took 6 days, so to speak, to create the world. אבל להרוס את העולם, but to destroy the world, לוקח שנייה אחת. Somebody just has to push a button. אנחנו מברכים אתכם בשם כל ישראל, so we're blessing you in the name of all of Israel, שלעולם לא תפסעו פסיעה לא נכונה, חס ושלום, that you should never take a wrong step. זהו רק צד אחד של הסיפור. That's just one side of the story. Okay, so now he goes on. He's not finished with the breaking of the cup. Shvirat hakos tikkun. Now he's taking it from another perspective, that the breaking of the cup is an aspect of fixing. Okay? Anybody want to guess what he's going to say? It's like Shvirat HaKelim, which leads to Olam HaTikkun. I didn't know you're such a Kabbalist. Wow. If I would be allowed to, I'd take my kippah off for you. But, okay. So, Shvirat HaKelim is a concept in Kabbalah where God created worlds, they got destroyed. And basically we're talking about, there's another Kabbalist sitting over there who studied with Rabbi Pinson. And so the idea is there that the Sfirot were like very, very independent and didn't allow for integration with each other. So they crashed and they broke. Understand? So for example, Chesed didn't allow for Gvura. Gvura didn't allow for Chesed, and so on. Okay? So there was Shvirat HaKelim, those vessels were broken, and then the next phase was Olam HaTikkun. That was in Olam HaTohu, right? Tohu v'voyu, remember that pasuk, right? Second pasuk in the Chumash. So what's the Olam HaTohu? The Olam HaTohu is the world in which things got broken. And then came Olam HaTikkun, then came the world of fixing, right? Okay. Now, suppose, for example, you go to this music school, right? And you enter to school and you think to yourself, like, man, I'm the best musician there is, right? In order for you to ever learn something new, somebody's going to have to break that vessel of you thinking that you're the best, right? It's when somebody's going to give you, it's when somebody's going to break that, and then you'll realize, oh, I'm not the best, I have something to fix. Okay? So that's why I think he's going, although I didn't read this yet. Let's see. Right? So Shvirat HaKos Tikkun. Hatzat HaAcher Shel HaSipur Hu Kazeh. The other side of the breaking of the vessel is as follows. Acharei shebilchu et sheva brachot, after the 7 blessings have been made, Kibalta koach v'ata yachol lomar v'chachet, so now you have strength and you can tell your Kalev, Rochel, אני אוהב אותך כל כך, I love you so much, שאפילו אם ישברו את כל הכוסות שבעולם, even if all the cups, the glasses in the world were to be broken, אני אתקן אותן בשבילך, I'll fix them for you. He's going in a different direction right now. He's saying to the Chosin, you got so much energy now that you can tell your Khalid that even if everything gets broken, I'll fix it. For you, I'm going to fix everything. Right, so we were talking about in the olden days, when I got back before, after my last trip, we were talking about that in the olden days. I think you were here. When Chos and Kali got married, what did they do for the first 7 days?
They were outside in the tent.
They went shopping. No, they were in a tent for 7 days by themselves. People brought them food and there were musicians outside and so on. But basically, they spent 7 days getting to know each other. Right? Now, can you imagine in those 7 days what they're discovering? Oh, you're not so perfect. That photograph must have been touched up. You're not such a big Talmud Chacham. You're not as smart as they told me that you are, this and that and so on, right? 7 days. And there's nowhere to run. You step outside, her father will kill you. She steps outside, his father will, right? Right? So what is your choice there? Your choice there is to, like I told you the parable with the diamonds the other day, right? The choice there is to say, oh, this is another thing we're going to make beautiful. This is another thing we're going to make beautiful. This is another blemish that we're going to make beautiful. Okay? And that's the way that was so Reb Shlomo was saying to the Chosn, you're basically giving the message now that if anything gets broken, I'm ready to fix it, right? So he says, Moshe ata Rebbe, v'Rachel at Rabbanit. I don't know who these people are, but he says, Moshe, you're a Rebbe, and Rachel, you're a Rebbetzin. אני רוצה לשאול אתכם שאלה. בחנות תפוחים, מה שמים בחלון I don't know how to pronounce that. In the display window. You're selling apples. What are you going to put into the display window? Tapuach. You're going to put in an apple, right? בחנות ציציות. In a store where they're selling tzitzis and talesim, מה שמים בחלון? בחלון I don't know how to pronounce it. Harava, maybe. So you're going to put tzitzis. מה שמים בחלון הרבה של רבי ורבנית? What do you put in the window of a Rebbe and a Rebbetzin? Kos shvura, a broken cup. Madua, why? L'odia lekulam, to let everybody know, im yesh lachem leiv shavu, if you have a broken heart, bo'u elai, come to me. Aten lachem tikun, I'll fix it. And then they broke the cup, mazel tov, mazel tov. So there's the Alter Rebbe had a chassid, Reb Shmuel Munkus. There are many chassidim, but you must have heard stories about Reb Shmuel Munkus. He's one chassid I would have loved to meet. Probably he would have whacked me out in 2 minutes, but he was an amazing chassid. The first time he came to the Alter Rebbe, he arrived at night in the Yoshne, and he knocked on the door, and the Alter Rebbe comes to the door, doesn't open it. He says, who's there? And he says, Shmuel. He says, what do you want? He says, I want to stay here. So the Alter Rebbe says, you can't stay here, go to the inn. So he says, no, I don't want to go to the inn. I want to stay here in your house. You don't know the story? So the Alter Rebbe says, get lost, man, or I'm going to call my shegitz, Alexei, and he's going to beat you up and throw you out. So he says, my shegitz is bigger than your shegitz. My goy is bigger than your goy. And the Alter Rebbe opened up the door and he let him in. What was the story? He was telling the Alter Rebbe, my Yetzer Hara is bigger than yours. And I came here for it to be fixed. So one day the Chassidim are walking around and they see on the front balcony of the Alter Rebbe, they see Shmuel is hanging from a rope by his feet. So initially they didn't say anything to him because, if Shmuel Munkus does something, you don't bother asking. Like, it's Shmuel, he does what he wants to do.
He's also hanging rooted upside down.
Huh?
It's also be difficult to have a conversation with him.
Oh, you can tap him. Anyway, he's hanging upside down, and they figured, okay, he's who knows what he's doing. They come back a couple hours later, still hanging upside down. Okay, Shmuel, what are you doing? So he says, listen, when you go by a barber shop, what do you see in the front window? A big scissor. When you go by a butcher shop, what do you see? There's some meat. Somebody at the door. They might just be looking at the sign. Oh, now they rang the bell. And it's always in the middle of the story that he gets up and goes to the door. Not for us or for us? Oh, for us. Come, Shalom, Shalom, have a seat. What's your name? People. Oh, I've heard the name in an email. Yeah. Okay. So he, so they come back a couple hours later. Shmuel's still hanging there by his feet. Shmuel, what are you doing? So he said, yeah, like you walk by a butcher shop, you see meat hanging in the window. You walk by a barber, you see a big scissor and so on. So you walk by a Rebbe's house, you got to see a chosed hanging because here they make chassidim. So one day, and the chassidim are having a farbrengen, and the Alter Rebbe is davening extra long, so the chassidim made kiddush and they started farbrengen. And there wasn't that much food to begin with, so it didn't take long for the food to be finished. So they say, Shmuel, go see what else there is to eat. Goes into the kitchen, and he finds a nice kugel. Brings out the kugel, and of course, the Chassidim ate it up. The Alter Rebbe finished davening 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, makes kiddush, his Rebbeson goes to find the kugel is gone. So it doesn't take long, she finds out Shmuel took it. And it's gone, it's finished. So she comes into the Alter Rebbe, she says, I can't stand that guy, you got to get him out of here. I made this kugel for you with kavanah and everything. And he goes and he took it and he put it on the table, and the Chassidim ate it up. The Alter Rebbe says, listen, if you have complaints against somebody, according to the rules of the Torah, the person that you're complaining against has to be present so they can defend themselves, right? So they go and they bring Shmuel. And the Rebbetzin starts and she says, I put so much work into this kugel and I had kavanah because I love you and I had all the best kavanot as I was making it so that it should nourish you and so on. And he goes and he takes the kugel without asking and they ate it up and it's gone. And the Alter Rebbe says to Shmuel, and what do you got to say? He says, I have no complaints, it was delicious. Anyway.
There's a whole book on stories of
that. So the story I really wanted to tell you, but I just had to sort of tell you a little bit about his character. So one day they're having a farbrengen, and the butcher had made a nice contribution for the farbrengen. He brought a plate of broiled chicken lungs. No, lungs, lungen. And lady, in my house, every part of the chicken used to get eaten, including the skin on the feet. In the olden times, when you buy chicken today and you just buy parts that they're not selling, you're paying for them too. So you might as well have them and eat them. You just got to know how to prepare it. Okay?
Chicken gallon.
It used to make you sick. My mother used to eat it also. And the schmaltz was used for spreading on the bread. You fried up onions in the schmaltz. Cholesterol the cholesterol the hair. It was delicious.
They didn't have cholesterol in them.
That's right.
Even though people died.
It was invented by the doctors.
If you look in the old times anyway, it says Me'ira Lamhaba. It's like the recipes for gala.
For schmaltz.
Schmaltz.
Gala is actually very healthy. Anyway, so it always at the farbrengens, even I remember when I was a kid, like nowadays you go into a kiddush at a Chabad house, all the food is already on the table, But the herring's there, the children's there, everything's there. But in the olden days, when there was sparse food for the Farbrengen. So basically, there was one person, it was his job to deliver the food to the table slowly, like first he'd bring out this, the people would eat that up, take another shot of vodka, or 96er, another song, another Dvar Torah, another piece of Chassidus, and they would bring out the pickles, and then they would do some more singing and some more learning, and then they bring out the pickle juice and so on, whatever it was. Understand, a couple of potatoes, and that's how you kept the Farbrengen going. And everybody, a plate of broiled chicken lungs, like everybody knew, like, wow, this is the delicacy of the Farbrengen. So Shmuel was in charge of bringing the food out, and of course he kept that for the last. So at some point the people said, no, Shmuel, bring it already. Come on, Shmuel, bring it already. And he's like, as they're going on, they're bringing it, they're getting, so finally he says, okay, I'm going to go bring it. So he goes and gets the plate of broiled chicken lungs, and he starts this dance where he's teasing everybody. He puts it in front of them, somebody puts out their hand to get the piece, grabs it away, and he's dancing around the room, and they're getting pretty annoyed with him, and they're about to get up and jump him, and he goes over to the garbage and takes the whole plate and smashes it into the garbage, and in those days garbage was garbage. Like, you don't take things out of there. Anyway, so now they're really mad at him. So they gave him a Chabad special, otherwise known as a mishkante. You know what a mishkante is? Mishkante means like when you go to the bank and you want to take a loan, they take a mishkante, they collateral. So this was a special treatment they used to have in Chabad. A special treatment when somebody does something and you want to make sure they're never going to do it again. So they put him at the table. The whole shul lined up, and they walked by, and everybody gave him a good one. It was Levitic, and Shmuel doesn't say a word. They finish giving him the mishkante, and the butcher runs in. He says, "Where's those chicken lungs?" And they say, the Michiganer, he threw it in the garbage. He threw it in the garbage? Phew. I just found out that they were treif. So now the Chassidim say to Shmuel, oh, the Travis Meifsim, you're practicing miraculous deeds? And in Chabad, nobody does that besides the Rebbe. So they gave him another mishkan. They gave him another mishkan. He didn't say a word. So now they said to him, okay. See, he's always in the middle of a story.
He's
such a litvak. It's okay, they come down to Rebbe to litvak too, by the way. By the Maggid, the Alter Rebbe was known as the litvak because of his Gemara learning. He was super. No.
Shachmanis.
Who's that?
It's chicken lungs.
Chicken lungs.
Chicken lungs. Mazeh? Who? For who? For Yehud? Lo shamati. Who sent it? Who is it for? For Yehuda? For him?
No.
For Judy? For Judy from who? Who sent it? You don't know? Okay. Who? What's the name? What's your Ima's name? Leah? Okay, thank you very, very much. Do you need to get something from Judy or you just brought it?
What?
Does Judy need to give you something? Oh, okay, so Ravis, can you go up and come here, please? Who's Leah? Oh, that's Hartman. That's a Hartman girl, no? Yeah, that's Ron's daughter. She looks like her father. Okay, so now the elder Hasidim say to Shmuel, you better tell us how you knew this wasn't kosher. Otherwise, you're getting another mishkantin.
What?
Ravit, you coming back? Wherever she's again. So he tells them that when he first came to the Alter Rebbe, and that's why I told you the story where he told the Alter Rebbe, my shakus is bigger than yours. In other words, so he said that when he first came to the Alter Rebbe, he asked the Alter Rebbe to take away his Yetzer Hara, his evil inclination. He says, I've got a Yetzer Hara that is roaring, and I really have a hard time controlling it. So I came to you that you should take away my Yetzer Hara. So the Alter Rebbe said, I'll give you a blessing that it should calm down, but I'm not going to take it away, because you need it in Avodas Hashem. You need it to serve God. So he says the Alter Rebbe's blessing worked. But when I picked up that plate of the broiled chicken lungs, my Yetzer Hara came back in full fire. And I knew there's something wrong with this. Because his Yetzer Hara, the mamish came back like that, you know. So that's the story of Shmuel Munkus, okay? So what was I telling you over here? What I was saying to you over here is that, you understand, we were talking about tikkun. I'll see you in a couple of weeks, Mr. Shem. Okay? Call to Ephraim Mordechai has been appointed as the Mashpia. You know what Mashpia is? In a Misnagdish yeshiva, they have a Mashgiach to watch that nobody steps out of line. In the Chassidish yeshiva, they have a Mashpia. It means you have to bring down the Shefa, you have to bring down the light to all these people that they should just, we want to learn more, we want to learn more. Okay? Thank you. Zay gebenched. Anyway, so we're talking about tikkun, you understand? And I started telling you about Shmuel Munkus because Shlomo was saying, what do you hang in the window of a Rebbe and a Rebbetzin? So Reb Shlomo says a broken cup, right? Because the idea is, here we fix. Here we fix, right? And that's what people have to know. You see something broken, the point, you understand, the reason that Hashem arranged for you to see that is do something. I told you the story, the Shliach in Rehovot, Rav Mendel Bukovsky, who's an extraordinary young man. He's also the Rosh Bezdin there. So he, before he was married, he had been here years ago, and for some reason or other, I don't know if he was assigned to do this or not assigned to do this, but basically he went around the country, visited all the Lubavitcher institutions, wrote a 30-page report, went back to New York, handed it into the Rebbe's office, and every day he's going to see, did the Rebbe answer, did the Rebbe answer? And there's no answer, and finally he's already getting into the car to go to the airport, to go back to Israel, and his brother shouts down from the second floor, they just called from 770, the Rebbe answered your letter. So on his way to the airport, they stopped, and he picked up the answer, and the Rebbe hands him back the 30-page letter. I mean, the secretary hands him back the 30-page letter, and the Rebbe's response on the letter was, on the back of it, at the very end of it, he wrote one word. The word was, no. In other words, so what are you going to do about it? Right? What are you going to do about it? So we all have to, we all have to know that, yeah, sometimes things look pretty messy, nebuch, and people going through all kinds of hardships and so on. So good, so daven over it, but no, is there something that you could do about it? Is there something that you could do that you could bring some more simcha? Is there something you can do about it? You know, like, is Yom HaZikaron, no, what are we going to do about it, right? And to be mechazek, to strengthen the achdut amongst us. To daven that Rebbeinu Shalom, we need Mashiach now already, and do something about it. Okay. So I want to just like Reb Shlomo used to say, bless you and bless me back. So maybe she should have you should all be in good health, and we'll see each other back in 2 weeks from now, and in good health and spirits. And that have me in mind that the trip should be successful. And if you know of anybody that wants to contribute $500,000 and up, so we can get the speaker program started, just let me know right away. And tell them that Shalom is coming, and if you don't do it, I'm going to send you Shmuel Munkus.
Which place are you going to?
I'm going to be in Teaneck, Denver, and Manhattan, and maybe Muncie and Montreal. It'll be on an email coming up. Okay.
Ay, quieres un